it? You like it? You like it? Who like bacchanal more than me? Put your hands up, I let me see. Who like bacchanal more than me? Put your hands up, I let me see. Oh, how much time to do this already? I do this already. Oh, how much time to check my resume? You check my resume. See, I have no time and I have no space for this second guessing. I don't get my blessing. I just take my grind all over the place. And if you don't like it, I don't care. I'll be singing there. Hey, look me there. Hey, look me there. I'll be singing there. Hey, look me there. Hey, look me there. Everything gone. It's all over. Nothing left. Right now this party over. Everything shut down already. Ready. Everything much up already. Ready. This the eyes of my start mashing up the place. Eyes of my start walking up the way. I have a master to get out of the face. Eyes of my
Welcome to episode 208 of the Query Shepherd podcast. I think it's about that. If it is that, it's close, right? Listen, I want to start by apologizing to Cohen Dubois once again. Every chance I get, I will take, because the other year, say, boy, the biggest fall off was Cohen Dubois. Until a man points out to me all the kind of song Cohen Dubois is sing that I be singing along to, and me even know it's Cohen. The disrespect. The level of disrespect. Welcome back to all the new, or welcome to all the new listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Just remember, we be here. I used to say real bright and early every Tuesday morning, right? But somewhere in the week, you will get a new episode. One day, we will be back to the levels of consistency of COVID times and so on. But for as long as there are no COVID, man, I have to go to work and all kind of different things. Obstacles, anyway. We come to talk, I mean, we can name this episode Obstacles, you know. What I want to talk about first, because we are here was your rundown of topics. We had to talk about Marshall and the tiny desk. A big desk, but some people try to tiny it up. We had to talk about Trinidad Killa and Marshall like it's just a Marshall episode. But I want to start with this, right? I mean, it wouldn't be here. According to Cohen Dubois, the great Cohen Dubois, who like bacchanal more than we. I would like to start with the politics. Only don't mind. For nearly a year straight, I changed from more original format when I used to do it like the TTT News. Rest in peace to Jones P. Madera. Legendary man, right? I used to do it like how them fellas do it, because them fellas used to come, take the biggest news of the day in the politics and the socio-economics and them kind of thing, and then they go into the sports news, and then they go talk a little bit about the culture in the end. But you know what, the news sometimes gets so heavy that I flip the whole script on the podcast. But only wouldn't mind if I just go back to some old days and just do it how we used to do it back in the day, because the little Tory is so hot. I see people vex. I watching all kind of people who is doing news blogging and thing, you know. And people was very, very upset. PNM folks, you know what I mean? And the what you want to call them? The non-biased, middle of the road, balanced reporters and so on was very, very upset the other day, because people saying Rowley retiring. They come out and they went against that. They say Stuart Young is who we play next. They went against that. They say and it's a leaks in the PNM and they don't want to. And then they say Amery Browne is the man to take over for Rowley and they go Martin West. Boy, they had the news bloggers in a tizzy saying, no, the Guardian this and the Express that, and they had no information on that. Amery Browne himself came out and denied he's the man to replace Rowley in Diego Martin West. And as usual, once we come here, even though we started with heavy news, we are tuned for heavy news, right?
I want to invoke the doctor and then write him a letter. I want to ask him a question, if he knew what was going on. The other day I was passing, I hear people complaining. He is the man with the answer, but he quite over yonder. They say, snake in the Balisier, snake in the Balisier, snake in the Balisier. them happy feet when they're making the racket. They just dress up in nice jacket. Some big fat mackerel drink out the oil in the oil well.
Like
I
who
don't
so?
know how they found the key, but I hear they empty the treasury. Snake in the Balisier.
Snake in the Balisier. If you don't know the voice, that's the voice of the man Winston Bailey, right? So clearly, it's a snake in the Balisier. Because I hear the Prime Minister say, well, who to call the Prime Minister now? I heard Dr. Rowley say the other day that, well, it's a no leak and it's a no thing again because, you know what I mean? Now, every time if you want to have an idea, it's on social media. Alexa know where you're thinking. Siri know where you're watching. Google Waze know where you're going. They have we under wraps. So clearly, the PNM did not do a great job of hiding their plans for this retirement and what the handover is supposed to be. But I can tell you this, whoever was leaking the information, they do a solid job. All the people who I don't know if they're hired to play defense, but I see some people in strong defense of the PNM. And when news come out that turn out now to be true, people say the media house have it against the PNM. You know, I remember the days when Gladiator and Umbala was on one station versus the next. And Gladiator came out and said, God bless his soul. Gladiator come out and say he gained $20,000 a month to defend. I also remember a man by the name of Robert Amar. Salute to the great Robert Amar, right? You're supposed to know that name. I remember him interrupting a broadcast when a announcer was he bad talking a party member or was he refusing an interview with somebody from the UNC? And Robert Amar interrupted and said, no, you can't say that because that's how we're paying all you. You had to make money to pay all you. So the idea that paid participants are in the media, in the traditional media, tells me that, and when I say traditional media, I mean if they have paid political participants in the newspapers and the radio stations in them time, top broadcasters was paid men. It had nothing to make me believe that news bloggers and so on is not paid political participants. You know what I mean? There was an artisan, you know. I see now that everything's settled, people taking a little rest, people posting a lot less. But last week we leave here and we was talking about the PNM and who's going to be the next leader, and Stuart was there and the vote Stuart he left 9, but then they couldn't get his signatures from the 9 because the 9 was upset and so on. One thing that I find real stand out here, right, as I look at a article from the Guardian here that says PNM closes ranks after Balisier House meetings. First, I watched my boy Ansel Dennis. I wanted to vote for Ansel Dennis immediately. Because when they come, you know, Akash coming in attack mode, or the media definitely coming to catch them and flustered, which is part of the media work. The media work is to get the real story first, right? And if it means attack mode or being sweet or whatever you have to do to get his story, we appreciate them getting his story, right? But Ansel Dennis did not look flustered. He didn't look rattled in the same way like when Stuart had to snatch back the mic from Fitzgerald Hines the other day. He didn't completely ignore them like how Fitzgerald Hines ignored them when they asked him a question about the lawyer who would have been murdered when he was walking out, was it Magdalena or wherever PNM had their convention, whatever they call the thing, right? He stand up and he answered the questions and he say, well, this is a standard so meeting that PNMs have once a month, and according to the constitution of the party, this is normal. And yes, the leadership will come out because there's an issue today, but it's a standard meeting that we have all the time. This meet. So I say, but look, Ansel Dennis is the man they should be putting because the man seemed properly well media trained, and you know he man have it completely together. But little did I know that the PNM calling a whole media specialist. I don't know who they call. And me know who they get to talk so sweet and to get all the people in the PNM, every single one, whether you was for or against Stuart Young or you're for or against Rowley, because clearly it has some snake in the Balisier, at least. I mean, Shadow put it as snake in the Balisier, right? But there was some, what's a good word for that? Discontention, is that word? There was some, people wasn't happy inside the PNM about how leadership being handed over and who getting prime minister, and are we automatically choosing a political leader, and we starting to hear talk about the political process and whether it being followed and so on. But what I'll tell you is whoever the media specialist is that the PNM calling, I want to get it. I want them to come and help train me on how to talk to people and, you know, how to do this podcast and do a better job at it, because they were outside of Balisier House last week. I want to say Thursday or Friday. And after I done stain my finger for Ansel Dennis, and as a new political leader, prime minister, I want Ansel for president after I see how well he take the questions. Little did I know that this thing was well planned out and orchestrated. Every single person who came up in front of Balisier House, who was interviewed, had the exact same talking points. Renuka Suklal, same answer she gave. The man who I like the most, I saw the interview, Faris Al-Rawi, same exact answers. Amery Browne come in and say, and I want to know if PNM have a Pantone color red that they choose for the jersey. Yeah, because not everybody was in a PNM jersey. Amery Browne in a polo jersey, Renuka in a little blouse, a little shirt, but everybody red looking the exact same way. It's impressive. If it had snake in the Balisier, they kill all between last week and week before, every snake head get cut off because everybody come out as one accord and say, this is a stand. I thought it was Ansel Dennis alone. Me, they get the men talking points and everybody say what it is there to say. But the man who I really like is Ron Sinanan. Ron Sinanan come with his scissor. Boy, me know what kind of liquor he have in his cup. But no, he ain't no iced tea in there. That's half and half. He come with his liquor. And he don't know where this thing going. The people who, I call them older, but them men are around a long time. They see many, many changes and they've been around the party a long time. Them are no fanfare and thing, when other younger ministers and, players who knew and seeing this for the first time maybe coming in, they jump on the car prepped for the media. My boy Ron come out shaking his glasses like, hey, my ice melting, this is a normal meeting, it's nothing different. The PNM is a constitutionally strong party and a well-formed institution. That men come out with talking points, sir. And coming off of the talking points, let me read what Gail Alexander say here from The Guardian. Show of solidarity at Balisier House, Port of Spain last night. Whether it will hold up over the next 48 hours. Some of them in The Guardian, and some of them vexing. Some of them vex. Some of these people in the media really holding on to hope that they have some kind of crumbling within the PNM. I don't know if it's just for the sake of a story or for, I saw some media people in the States kind of want to say like they're hoping Trump win because it was kind of boring under Biden and now they got things to talk about for the next 4 years. So I get a sense that, because when they see them come out, I don't know what could have given the impression that it would not have held up over the last 48 hours because when Penny was leaving, who was the contender or the number one contender against Stuart Young? And leaving there after 11-9 in Tobago. Now they leave the night, 20 zip. Hard luck shadow with that snake talk. No snake in the Balisier. And you know what's funny? Them men inside Balisier House, the media outside waiting for the longest while. Every single person I see when they went for the what is called a general council meeting, everybody was in red and thing. But when it was time for this meeting where it's vote and where they seem to be finalizing this thing, everybody wear their clothes, men suit up. It is clear to me that when they came out of this meeting where they Stuart Young get the blessings, them men was photo ready. They come out for that because all they could do, which you all probably did, all the congratulating and saying, I hear poor Camille Robinson Regis went wrong for signature. All didn't sign not one of the things the woman said. They said they're not signing nothing Camille bring to sign. She can't get his signature to pass to the president because apparently for him to hand over to the president, they needed a signed letter, I guess, from all the MPs on the PNM side. Basically a show of solidarity and support to go and tell the president like, hey, I retire in an office and I put in this man as prime minister. But they never get nothing because man has to negotiate. Deals have to make. Deals have to be made. So them men didn't just congratulate one another inside Balisier House as they would have or on the WhatsApp groups or when they signed with Camille because they went into this meeting clearly knowing what they was going to vote and everything settled. But they make sure they come out on the pavement. The picture in this article I read in here, Stuart Young is holding on to Nyan Gatsby Dolly tight. A man tell me like Stuart get everything Rowley had when he retired, he leave everything with him. And I'm like, hold on tight, so hold on tight. Faris Al-Rawi hugging up the next one on the next side, everybody. And it is clear to me, right? It's clear to me that our next hug happening here with Terence D'Alsing and Marvin Gonzalez, Faris Al-Rawi embracing, who know? Foster Cummins, all the main players and all the people who they say because Foster was going and everybody come out and hug up one another. You know what it remind me of? Late in the night, this meeting done and the media waiting for them. It remind me of the last scene in the first Godfather. If you only remember first Godfather, right? The first Godfather starts off with Michael Corleone, who was Al Capone. Al Pacino, of course I'll say Al Capone. Al Pacino was a young son and Marlon Brando was the Godfather, right? And very early in the movie, Marlon Brando gets shot up and so on. You know what I mean? He gets shot. They ambush him. That was what kick off things in the movie. When you start understanding the mob and how they move, they come and they shoot the Godfather. And then the oldest son get in charge, and then they kill Santino. You know what I mean? Good Sonny. Sonny get hasty and go on and get set up and get killed. So Michael, now the youngest of the sons, step up and say, well, he will take it because he has some military training. They don't know who is he. He go, you know what I mean? He went and deal with Salazzo. Oh, remember the Godfather? He killed the police chief. He went and deal with that, right? Went, I think it's Sicily for a little while and then come back. When he come back now, he's Godfather. And in the end of the movie, you see everybody come out and kiss the rings. You know what I mean? That term, kiss the rings, and call him Godfather, just where the movie starts off. Because the movie starts off in a wedding where Marlon Brando was being greeted by everybody and saying, you know, people refer to him as Godfather. On the day of his daughter's wedding, he had to grant every favor for people. It ends just that way, where everybody recognized Michael Corleone as Godfather. A better script could not be written. This whole PNM saga over the last, if you want to call it the last month, or what probably for people who are PNM insiders would be over the last 5-6 years, was clearly a retaping of the Trinidad Godfather Part 1. Trini Godfather. Because nobody can tell me know nothing about them meeting and I don't know how it's going, but for 11 people to vote for and 9 to vote against, and then nobody don't want to sign just the day after. And then they had to go in what is not an emergency meeting, because it was made very clear by every single MP. Everybody say there's not an emergency meeting, it's a normal meeting. Yes, it go come up. And then to come out of that meeting with a resounding 20 zip for Stuart Young. It tells me a couple things, right? So you want some bold predictions. I think a cabinet reshuffle is coming soon, you know what I mean? Sooner than you could procure Fed tickets for things like Adrian Schoon parties and Scotch parties and Julius Caesar and so on parties. Faster than you could procure them tickets, a cabinet reshuffle coming. People are going to get what they want because people bargain for what they needed to bargain for, even if it's for this little 2-3 months. Remember, one of these men who in this bargaining thing was Attorney General, like next to the Prime Minister everywhere you go. When this man was elected, when PNM was elected, you couldn't see Rowlers without seeing Faris Al-Rawi. That man was like ring on finger. And then he get almost like banished to local government, because the negotiation in this thing, before the men come and kiss the rings, I think, is for who gonna be Minister of Housing, who gonna get thing like Attorney General, of course, who gonna get Minister of Finance, who gonna get Minister of Health, all them kind of deals being made inside it. As of course, if you put me in charge, I had to bring in my own people who I know and love and trust and so on. But I'm sure those deals were made. So I expect to see a little bit of a cabinet reshuffle. If men like a Heinz, because nobody in hug up Heinz when they come out of the place. Nobody was hugging Heinz. You know what I mean? Me no views there. But it's clear that coming. We want predictions about an early election too. If I was Stuart Young, right? Let me talk straight. I don't know nothing about political strategy, right? But from a marketing standpoint, I see Kamala Harris make a fundamental mistake when she was running in the States, which was, as I said, when they ask her about what she would do different from Biden, she say, not much, you know what I mean? I come in to do the same thing. Even somebody who is incumbent, if you are the sitting prime minister and you campaigning, you ought not to go there and tell people, hey, I'm going to do the same thing I was doing before, you know, because that will give your political enemy, being the opposition in this case, or even some of your doubters, being an independent man like me who nobody don't have my vote, I would be saying, but wait, you're going to do the same thing you was doing before? My mind as an independent, my mind will first go to the murder, all the bad things. I'll be, wait, is the same thing we in for? I looking at all the house breaking, all them types. I will look to the bad things because I want some of them bad things to dissipate and disappear, and I want to live in a place that's safe. So whatever is the biggest problem I have in as a voter, when you come out and say, yeah, same old, re-elect me and we'll go along these same lines, my first thing is, hey, we have things to fix. You can't say that. So even as the incumbent, you had to come out and say, well, our focus is on this. Our thing, you have to share a vision as to how you will make the place better. Like, I have business reviews with clients this week. I wish I would show up in a client meeting for a business review. To me, when somebody asks for a business review, my first thought is, all right, let me talk about what we were able to accomplish last year, where we fall short, where we are now, and what we're going to do to remedy some of those things for next year. I can't go and tell a client, Well, same thing. Nothing new. I mean, it don't work so. Nothing imperfect. You could always find ways to make things better. So I was surprised when Kamala Harris, and maybe the question caught her off guard, but I mean, how you gonna come out and say same old? And it's part of my fear for Stuart Young. Now, congratulations to him. As I said last week, I like the fellow. I find he's sober tongue, sober mind, and so on. I like that. I like people who have it a little bit together when it comes to the representing of the country, the diplomacy and thing. I think that is one of the most, that's not the only thing, right? But that is one of the most important things for me when I'm looking for somebody to vote for, right? So I wish him all the best, you know what I mean? I think he will do well. I hope he does well. And I think all the people, it's a cycle, right? All the people who real hopeful about him and real like him right now, maybe like myself, you go here 1, 2, 3 years pass. So it's an unforgiving job. It's a brutal world. You can't do nothing right, you know what I mean? But at least he's a sober mind and a sober tongue. I like that. I like it. Pause. I like that. Put him in there and let me see what he could do. Somebody had to do the work, right? It ain't gonna be me. And if you're listening to this, it ain't gonna be you neither, because you wasn't gonna go be prime minister. So I think we had to be grateful for the people who are there, regardless of how I might think about them or talk about them. But one of the first things I would want to do if I were him was to chart the course for what the Trinidad and Tobago that I am going to govern is going to look like. Not today, but in the future. What's my policy? What was my stance? Remember I talked about it last week, your vision, purpose, and your mission. I was talking to a friend recently who now start her MBA. And one of the first courses they're doing is business strategy. And one of the first things they're teaching in business strategy is you must know what is your vision and your mission and your core values, like where you want this business to be, where you're going to do. You can't go in there when it's had a CEO before and they put you in the CEO position and you just ups and say, well, hey, I just going to continue what the work he was doing. Nobody don't want to hear that. You also can't go in there and say, hey, this last man who always said there was a waste of time and only put me under real pressure. I hope that Stuart Young does not go in there to talk about no UNC and what UNC. But let me stay away from that now. UNC was 10, 15, 20 years ago. We are good. They would, whatever you say they do right, they do that. Let me move forward with what it is. And for that reason, from a marketing standpoint, one of the first things I would do, especially while we are under a state of emergency, right? I have a little bit to talk about Gary Griffith today. Let me tell you something I like about Gary Griffith before I tell you what I do about Stuart Young. Gary Griffith is quote his figures as being the police commissioner with the lowest murder rate or the lowest crime rate or the most control over crime, fully well knowing that some of the years he quoted in there was under times where it had a state of emergency during COVID and nobody could move. Nobody. If you wanted to kill somebody, you can't leave home to kill them. You understand what I'm saying? You have to settle your debts later on. You can't go on no scene to kill no man, and you know what I mean? The man had COVID, now you kill the man, now you dead from the COVID too. Couldn't happen. And he's talking about that as if, and you know what? Let me tell you where he writes about that. Many people will forget when he continues to quote them figures. They're going to forget that it's COVID times. You will just hear it, and I guarantee you, one day you'll have a whole group of people who come up and say, boy, that man had the lowest crime rate, boy, 2021, 2020, and see how it was. And them go forget clean that it had COVID during them times. Only we who lived through that, and some of we go forget too. So, taking a page out of Gary Griffith book, right, who just quote the figures when he quoted, Stuart Young is going to be, or is prime minister, or going to be, I didn't think it's official yet, he's going to be prime minister at a time where you have a state of emergency. And once again, we have one of the lowest crime. If you look at the crime statistics for January, we already what we are today. We smack dead in the middle of January. Sorry for the pun, right? In the middle of January here, and we're already on target to have one of the lowest crime rates ever in a January. Well, not ever, but in a long time since the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago get bad. You're seeing where we on target. As I recorded this, they already signed the extension for the SOE, so that SOE going to continue. They really didn't need the opposition help, but they had the debate and so on. Or the debate might be ongoing still, but they're going through the process. Let me just read here to make sure I ain't reading the wrong thing. The Young defends legal process to declare SOE And Minister Stuart Young said yesterday the country was fortunate to have a sober prime minister who was able to lead the cabinet, responding to the parliament opposition criticisms about proximity of the prime minister party in Tobago to the declaration of the SOE and about the government being unprepared. Young said when the decision was taken by cabinet in the wee hours of the morning, just after midnight on December 30th, a cabinet note had to be prepared and draft proclamation were prepared for the president, for the presentation to the president. This got to the president at 1:37 a.m. on the morning of December 30th, whether events were taking place in Tobago or not. So this was him defending it, but I'm not sure exactly where they are on the debate, but I expect that if it's not done already, the SOE will be extended. As I said last week, and I hear many, many people saying the same thing, as the regular citizen, I'm not feeling like we're in a state of emergency. The sense of emergency is not there. The sense of urgency is not there. You're seeing some licensing officers on the road and police and stuff. But even after recording last week, I had to ask myself, when I see the crime figures, maybe this is a good, or I had to ask myself, like, I saying I ain't seeing it, I ain't feeling it, right? But me not criminal. Should we, as the law-abiding citizens who go into work every day, clocking your card in and out and so on, doing what you have to do, you going about your normal business, should we really be inconvenienced, bothered, whatever, by a state of emergency that is to deal with a specific or localized situation or dealing with a localized group, right? Whether the localization is geography or a localized mindset or doctrine like a gang or whatever it is, that is what they're responding to. And I saying it, and we say, hearing people on the radio calling in and saying like, hey, this ain't feeling like no state of emergency. But it's clear that the people who have criminal intent, who would have already been on 30, 40 murders for the year and so on, in any given year, you would have had that. You'd have sometimes double, heading towards triple the amount of murders in a month. Almost like a 2 days, you know, and football teams say they're practicing twice a day. You're not seeing that same thing. You're seeing a January where the crime situation, it almost leads me to stopping just short of saying maybe they should just extend this state of emergency as far forward as they could. Let me cool down this situation. Because, I mean, I wasn't here, but what I see in December from reading the news was real bad. I mean, and we've had many weekends where we had to come and talk about very, very murderous weekends and those types of things. So, Stuart Young, for those reasons, I would think, like, you ride the wave of this low crime rate. People go forget that it's because of the SOE. People don't forget we're in a SOE already. And you set out what your vision is for the thing fast as a leader and so on. And call elections. Calling elections will do a few things, not just for the national or the general public. And again, this is one where everybody I know who know anything about politics saying there's a dumb move that will never work and so on. And you see what happened to Manning last time he called an election, and they should ride till November. But my thoughts is that while things looking, and they're not looking good now, but they're looking better than they ever were, where you have somebody brand new, people kind of, the reasonable person, and call the reasonable person not a PNM or not a UNC. The reasonable person now sitting waiting to hear what Stuart Young will say. If the reasonable person is anything like me, if I am to be a representative sample of the reasonable person, I was kind of waiting to hear Kamla say, well, boy, my enemy gone, I gone too. You know what I mean? I going home, but like this woman, she ain't intend to leave. But the reasonable person waiting to hear, okay, well, let me hear what Stuart Young gonna say. The reasonable person also saying more of the same from the PNM, just a different. You remember the statement? If you put a crapo in a Balisier tie. Some people saying, boy, listen, is the PNM where you could get, but at least it's somebody new. We waiting to hear what he had to say. I would have go the marketing alone. I ain't not talking political strategy. I coming out there, I reshuffling cabinet. I making sure my cabinet looking young and hopeful. Well, in this case, I had to deliver on the promises the promises I make, right? So I had to put Faris back as Attorney General, I suppose. You know what I mean? If that is one of the promises I make, I got to put Penny wherever she wants to go. I got to put Foster Cummins wherever he wants to go, you know, and make that change so that now I have a team of people who looking young, fresh, and clean, like we know how to hot up the scene, you know? And once I do that and I set my standard for what I expect this country to look like and so on, I extend my SOE and thing. Boy, when all you reach home a morning from soca and all you soaking wet and all your head bad, all you get an election date, you know, if it's me, I call it because I can't afford to hang around for so long that the steam of the SOE died down or the SOE call off, and then things get bad where crime is concerned, which was one of the major issues that people voting based on is the confidence in the next person to come here and deal with this crime situation, right? And if I could just distance myself from the last person who salute to Rowley and everything, enjoy your retirement. And I don't want to, if I Stuart, I probably can't come and say, well, Rowley's a waste of time. He was the boss. I just had to do what he say. But I could certainly distance myself from him by coming out and say, hey, election, new brand, new vision for PNM, new vision for the party, new vision for the country. Like in marketing, right? They have, like, brands go through this process sometimes where you have to rebrand. Sometimes something would, maybe it's something that happened in the public space or the opinion or the what you call brand positioning, right? How people feel about your brand compared to how they feel about the competitor brand. Something happened and it forces us to rebrand, and it's really the same company and the same brand sort of putting a stopgap and distancing itself from its past. You would have seen it before because the logo that Kia uses now is not the same logo that they were using 5 years ago. And it's not the same logo that they were using 15 years ago or 20 years ago. Kia has rebranded and doing refreshes to the brand all the time. You know what I mean? I have no doubt that PNM and UNC would do the same thing over time. To just update the look of the brand. And it might seem like a simple thing to do or simplistic, you know, but marketing is about the impression that the product will give you, right? You can think about it like this. You go in a grocery. I had to be the most impressive ketchup on the shelf before you taste the damn ketchup. I had to be Coca-Cola is the most impressive soft drink on the shelf before you taste the Coca-Cola. The brand had to look a certain way. It had to appeal to the people who there. And it had to stand out against the other people who next door. So my first port of call, if I was Stuart Young, would be to do a rebranding so that you see the snake in the Balisier and all that talk about. But I ain't saying necessarily lose the Balisier because, you know, history and those things. You can't come in and you will deeply offend. I done hear the interview Twiggy, and Twiggy say the PNM have to learn to respect black women. You know, you can't disrespect the people who were there for the party legacy, right? And the older heads in the party and the people who've been around for a long time. But you could certainly do a little refresh and an update in terms of the look and feel of not just the people who you're reshuffling the cabinet, but the look and feel of what the PNM is and who you're trying to appeal to. I find the safest bet in this world is to always appeal to youth and expose them to a product that helps them to see themselves as hopeful. Expose them to leadership that helps them to unlock the best potential in themselves. Expose them to people who are like living examples of what I could do with my life coming from wherever I come from. All the people who in power now, I'm talking government side and opposition side, all of them have stories to tell about their background and where they come from and what they overcome and what they were able to do and accomplish, whether it's through education or business or just plain old hard work or the political life or what. Everybody have this story to tell where those things concern. So to me, it's not very different. If you want to stop a crime situation in the short run, you call a SOE and you get everybody to sit down and behave yourself and hey, everybody stay home and you put army and thing in place. But that is not a long-term solution to crime. That cannot work for crime in the long term. If you want to solve crime in the long run, one of the things we have to do is to restore hope in youth in the system. We have to get youths to trust that the system, the legal system, allows them to do better for themselves and accomplish their goals. It's not about how much money you make or how much money. Maslow had a thing named hierarchy of needs. You know, Maslow say you have physiological, then you have safety, then I think he say you have belonging, and then you have esteem, and then you have self-actualization. Every parent wants their child to self-actualize. Every little child is grow up dreaming of being something. But one of the issues you have in Trinidad and Tobago now is that dreams get killed real fast. Sometimes physically, real life kill. Sometimes you just lost hope because the education system is treated like a dunce if you can't go and learn in the traditional way. The sporting system just throw you away if you're not absolutely exceptional and your parents can't spend a set of money behind you to do things. So if the loudest voice and the most inspiring voice for you coming from somebody named Iron Mike who in a building all his life and have X amount of pounds of gold and millions of dollars worth of jewelry, and that is where you get to be your first sign of hope in a community. Then we're going to need to live in a state of emergency for the rest of our life. You know? So I'm saying we will never come out of this state of emergency. So I expect my bold prediction is that I feel like the likelihood strong that we're going to get a little... and me, I hear nothing from nobody. Let me make that very, very clear. I'm not one of those... I'm not as connected as the news bloggers and things. No, the reason this thing named after me and the next name is because everything I talk about here is really simply my opinion.
If you do good, good would follow you. And if you do bad, your journey is hard. You're always in war with your conscience. It's squeezing you up like a tight pants. You could be living in a den of luxury, yet you always unhappy. You go to your bed on your lovely mattress. You're dying to sleep, but you can't find a rest. No rest, no rest. Tossing about like a leaf on the bed. The wrong things you do like a bomb in your head.
Moving on now to on the same topic, but the next side of the divide, right? Kamla calls PNM's backing of Stuart as future PM vulgar and obscene charade. What will you expect? Let me hear what she had to say now. Opposition leader Kamla Bissessar has described the PNM's General Council meeting as a vulgar and obscene charade aimed at hoodwinking a desperate and traumatized nation into believing that unity was achieved among the lazy, greedy, incompetent, warring members of the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's government. The UNC leader said the coronation of Energy Minister Stuart Young, it looked like a coronation in Trinidad, has been a nail in the cross of the democracy in the party. The party's ongoing soap opera of chaos and incompetence. In a press release issued yesterday, Persad Bissessar said that the fact that Rowley had to call his warring ministers to a General Council meeting on Saturday to heal over his highly questionable coronation of Stuart Young showed his PNM government had virtually collapsed under the weight of an internal power struggle. If this is a collapse, I want PNM level collapses in my life. The most sort of stable collapse. Them fellas and them, this is turmoil in PNM language, because I know what them have inside of there when them close them doors in Balisier House. Me know if man is having hand wrestling or man had to cough it out or what this happen inside there. But somehow, no matter how, as Shadow say, snake in the Balisier, no matter how much time that happen, them men is kind of emerge with a united front. I want to have that level of diplomacy, negotiation, all them kind of thing in my life, yes? It says she waited on the issue of 21 MPs who pledged their support for Young as Prime Minister. Rowley must know that regardless of who he coerces in the PNM General Council meeting to select as their leader, the party is destined to lose the next general election. Due to all the MPs and ministers' collective, disastrous and deadly tenure in government. I like that. Young received full support from PNM MPs to succeed Rowley after a week of turmoil in the party following the party's recent all in all that already, right? So Kamla is unhappy. And I am shocked. You know what I mean? I'm flabbergasted. Who would have thought that the opposition leader would not support the change of the guard and the PNM, you know what I mean? I thought she would be inspired, you know what I mean? I thought it was a woman inspired and so on, you know? Now it's such a good time. And you know, I used to use Michaela Pandey as my example of somebody who, you know, they should hand over. Or somebody young who on the closer to the UNC side, you know, her father was Balisier Pandey, and she was part of the UNC at one point in time. She going to form her own party, and I kind of used to use her as an example of somebody who you could put, you know what I mean? I say, but look at a young person like this, so vibrant, the experience of her father and so on, the good name of Pandey. But to tell you the truth, right? Tell you the truth. Don't between me and you, right? Don't make nobody wise. But I watch a podcast with Michaela Pandey and some young ladies talking the other day, right? And boy, let me tell you something. Them talk about the internet like we in 1993. They say, well, there's the internet and we communicate now. Most people communicate on the internet now. And what the police should do is have an internet. And if they have the internet, then you can make a report in one station and Michaela, that happened already. Where have you been? So I would like to revise my statement because I like to come here and talk about youth, but I talk about youth under the assumption that with Gate and so on, we have a crop of young, very bright, eager people come out. I mean, Michaela. And then again, I had to stop. Maybe I'm talking about Michaela, thinking of myself as one of these youths too, you know what I mean? But I hear them with a look. I watch about 10-15 minutes of that podcast dialogue. And I keep thinking to myself, hey, only read anything, like only just Google anything, only watch YouTube or something, only was on TikTok, anybody do anything before they start talking, only record this conversation. I find like I come to talk, I don't talk about nothing serious, you know what I mean? And I spend hours just reading up, trying to figure out, well, all right, who say what about this? And these people talking as if them now discover the internet. What is these people talking about? Get online reporting in police station. And you know, maybe what turned me off about it the most is everything in the interviews. My father did this and my father put that in place. Mom, your father put that in place in the 90s. Go up to date yourself if you want to be the next police. But whoever they have, maybe Saddam Hussein. The more I can't take the contentiousness. All you know as a man don't like confrontation, I don't like lacquery, I don't like bacchanal. So only for the purposes of entertainment, right? But I kind of like what I see of the work ethic of Saddam Hussein. Give one of them youth men the thing, man, and inspire your base and inspire the undecided voter to look at two new people in this election and fool we into thinking we getting some kind of new regime. PNM looking like they're en route to trying to fool we. All you fool we on that side too now. Don't let it be you comes. Let me celebrate you now. Let me come here and do a dedication episode to you and how great you was and what you do for the country and so on. Talking about a man who stepped away from, seems to have been making his way away from the mudslinging and the tongue-lashing type of politics. Gary Griffith, mature Rowley, is making history. Let me tell you something. I vote for very frivolous things, you understand? I don't think much go change in this country whether UNC, PNM, any one of them in power is the same like a lock to me. So I vote for very frivolous things. As a matter of fact, most time I vote for the last 3 years has been based on what I want to come and talk about here on the podcast. You know what I mean? I voted for entertainment purposes. But I liking Gary Griffith alone. I liking this new Gary Griffith. I talked about him last week and his response to Rowley. I liking where he going here. Let me tell you what he say here. Who's this by? This is by, I read in here from Richard Khan from the Newsday. Griffith says, leave young stepdaughter out of politics. No, granted. Let me say before I go too far in this, right? He also come out and said a young stepdaughter is his family too. So I'm starting to see where maybe these people connected in a way, and maybe this is why Gary changing his tone a little bit. But I do like the new toned down version, if that is a thing, of Gary Griffith. National Transformation Alliance political leader Gary Griffith is urging the public to stop using young stepdaughter as ammunition and casting aspersions against him as the coming prime minister. He must find a way to use ammunition or guns in every statement he makes. It's impressive. At a media conference at the party's San Fernando West constituency office, NTA office and so on, at the media conference at the party's San Fernando West constituency office on Lord Street on January 13th, Gary slammed politicians and members of the public who continue to use Young's former relation to Christiana Sanka. And they say former relation, he mother done? Former relation to Christiana Sanka as a way to cast a shadow on his recent selection to become Prime Minister when Dr. Keith Rowley resigns at an unknown date. Her face continues to be plastered in the media because they're trying to link her with that individual. That is because she was arrested by myself. She was arrested by myself, and they continue to demonize that young lady to refer to her as the stepdaughter of the future Prime Minister. To try not to go out of their way to destroy one man, you're destroying the life of a young girl because she made a mistake. Gary, I just want all as politicians collectively to start thinking more like this. Like, always make statements like these as if them things don't matter. When it's in all your favor to say these things about people and it can advance all your political agenda. Always say things like this all the time. This is one of the reasons I don't like politics here. Because nobody, the little girl who destroying her future, not because she connected to you, she always do this to little youths all the time. Call the name as if them don't matter. Almost like them don't even have a vote. Always just use them as a trump card. Where you could throw it and you dump that and then you shuffle and you pass it back and the next man shuffle and use it. You always do that all the time. Anyway. Sanka was arrested along with Aruba Elegant, Javon Cole, and Yanis Pebbles of St. Augustine in a Westmoreland's drug raid on December 4, 2018. Police recovered nearly 192 pounds of marijuana. We're still looking at people for that. And 1.04 kilograms of cocaine valued at 3.8 million. In driving home, his belief that Sanka's actions should not be held against Young or anyone for that matter. Griffith said he too was related to her. You man forget that when he locked she up. That girl is my cousin, so demonize me. I have no qualms to state. Yes, she's my family. She's a Danielle, and my mother was a Danielle. Yeah, I don't like Gary Griffith. So what? You're going to continue to condemn a young lady and criticize and demonize her every time because your enjoyment and excitement and hatred? Slow down, Gary Griffith. Slow down. Because I was with you on the condemnation of the young lady and the demonization and so on, but you did say 191.66 kilograms of marijuana and 1.04 kilograms of cocaine. Let me not forget, if she do it or what, you know what I mean? Let me not forget that was part of the jacket, right? Also, the press conference, the NTA presented 5 of its candidates who will contest the general election. He was using a little, all right, Gary, I see what you did here. Use good name and big issue to talk about your 5 candidates. Let me talk about them too. Kevin Saran for Sandonan West. He's going to lose. Nicolene Taylor Chinchami. That's too big for a ballot. She's going to lose. Who else? Jarzinho Rigsby for Remo. Can't win. UNC. And former UNC MP Christine Nawalo Hossain for Toko Sandy Grande. I hope she enjoyed the beach up there because that will be all she's getting. Commander Norman Delnial will be running for Chaguanas East. Not a chance. Griffith previously said he would contest the St. Joseph seat. And Savita Pierre will contest Tunapuna. Looking like not. As he defended Sanka, Griffith also wants candidates to avoid stooping to that level on the campaign trail. All right, so I have a little more hope now. All coming back up on my slider. He said the hatred and division and bitterness by politicians on all sides have destroyed the country. I wish he would have said there, including me. Our job in the NTA is to unite, to build, to be productive, and all I ask of you candidates is that we are not going into this election with the guts of politics. Well, Gary, the way leadership is work, if you show the example, we might have a chance. Listen, if them fellas and them come out and run a campaign on issues, all have my vote. I'm saying it here now. Despite being selected as Rowley successor, all right, so all you know about Stuart Young already. So that's where we are. I applaud Gary Griffith. I'm matter of fact, when I look at the people who are saying I no chance here, actually some of the faces I know from, I go around the gym and saying young, vibrant people and so on, you know what I mean? So I wish the NTA the best. It's going to be an uphill battle for them in any constituency they have, but I think Gary Griffith has a lot of cachet. People believe in him. And it's like there's a faction that feel Gary Griffith is the solution for crime in the country. And I'm not sure if that means only as commissioner of police or wherever they put him, that's going to be the case, but left to be seen. I wish them the best, you know what I mean? I wish them the best. I hope they come out and they make good representation of themselves. And let's see if we have a proper a proper third force in this country. I want to go back to a certain song here, right? A little mind. Because I play this song again as one of my favorite songs for the season. It's the number one song of the season by any metric at this point in time. And the song getting some free marketing now on top of that.
What are you doing? She said, does that? She said, let me cater to you. I say, cater to me. She said, just relax and let me give you the thing. No. She said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, and then she bubble and she bubble and she bubble and whine. Push back is the greatest bed over. Push back, roll your waist and bend over. Push back, oh Miss Lady, bubble and she bubble and she bubble and whine. Push back, give me the greatest bed over. Push back, you are the wickedest bed over. Push back, why? I wanna whine on your bumper. I know you like steam. I know you like vibes. I know you like speed. Clock work, y'all bend down, touch your knee. Is a new wallpaper for my iPhone screen. She said, let me cater to you. I said, cater to me. She said, just relax and let me give you the thing. Yes, girl, I wanna give you the thing. She said, take it easy, I will do the work.
I see a man on Facebook say, when the woman say take it easy, I will do all the work, they mean for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So don't get your hopes up too high. Don't get your hopes up too high. We still need man. So controversy surrounding this song. Sorry to say, we just talked about this rhythm and this song in the last week. And I was so proud, as I say when you see a youth man named Corey, he bong for greatness. He bong for greatness. Just last week we talked about this as young producers of the rhythm, like Corey and Kevin Hart. And what's the name of the rhythm again? I'm not a young man and all. You got me think. I think the name of it is the name of the group is Full Blown and it's Big Links Rhythm, right? So salute to them. I tried to go off Fed this weekend. Let me talk more household business now. I tried to go off Fed this weekend. I see something named Buku Bacchanal breakfast or something like that, and I say, boy, listen, let me, you know what I mean? Let me shake a little leg. You know, I have a young wife. Let me come on. When my young wife dragged the flag, I talk in my mind, you know, she dragged the flag. I said, girl, let me go take things. But in fairness, when I see the pictures from Bacchanal Buku and the everything that was being said on social media, I tell myself, well, boy, this fete might be a little bigger than I expected. I thought it was a little small fete, and I could pass through there fast, enjoy myself quick, and that'll be it. You know, I tell myself, I in and out and there. I in and out of there and enjoying myself, and we discover our next fete. Because I'm telling you, I've been saying it for years, fete ticket very, very hard to get. And sometimes we hold on to the past, because I have some fetes that I go to all the time. And then every year by default, we end up in them fetes, right? And what I try to do is, like at a stage now where it's more like cooler fetes for me. I need a small event, you bring your cooler, everything right in, and I'll go in a bar, fight up with nobody. I find I'm preferring that now. I do enough of the brass and the customs. I do big fete for a long time. To the point where I would have never go a fete if it was a small fete. I would have never go a DJ fete at one point in time. But now I can't make again. I don't want to park far, and I can't do that. And what I'm realizing now is that I'm not letting the nostalgia of events hold me to be doing no event for the next 5 years when it reached the point where you had to fight for tickets, because it have points in time where you could just buy the ticket on Island, e-tickets or wherever it is, or whoever you know, you just call and you get tickets. And then the events get popular. And then you had to find this particular person who had to approve the ticket. It is, again, all. I don't mind just go. I think me and Stacey enjoy ourselves when we go out. It could be just me and she. We don't bunk for no crew. We just have a good time right there by ourselves. So I say Bacchanal Buku thing, it right in Anchorage, that close to me. I could get in and out of the air so fast. Nobody can lock me up. When I get my transportation home and so on, you know what I mean? I'm going to enjoy it, but it turned out to be a real big fete. But the music is what making me come out. And this Big Links Rhythm is one of the things. I talked about it last year when I was talking about Kevin and Corey Hart being young fellas who I understand are the grandsons of the great Eddie Hart. Locals of Tuna Puna. Bad men. And they come up with this rhythm, and I think they have Kess, Marshall, Yung Bredda, and the Yung Bredda seem to be the one that running in the forefront, right? And then all of a sudden, you see somebody who, to me, is a hit maker, right? Let me say that, right? Trinidad Killa. If you don't know the name Trinidad Killa, you know a song, Gunman and she hold, she like that. The man had one big voice singing that. The first time I heard it, I didn't know who it was, but that song pick up a length and have an energy and is now one of the most popular songs in Trinidad ever, right? If you're just going based on social media views and YouTube and streams and things, it's a big song, right? But he know how to make a hit. Because you when say, Dizes, Sunday morning, Chinatown, he have a way he is, I don't know, he certainly don't write down no lyrics because the way he just put lines together and things, it's a little funny and off to me, but when he sings something, a lot of the things he sings is be hits, you know what I mean? Some of these hits have ass in front, but a lot of them is be hits too, right? And I just hear this song last week, must be when I done record and thing, I hear this song because Yung Bredda wanted to say, take it easy, I will do the work. Nice little concept for a song, right? I understand as well that the lyrics for the song, of all the songs in the rhythm, was written by these two youth men too, right? Salute them. That's an enormous talent to be able to do that, in my opinion, or by any measure, right? And then Marshall say, I can only drive 1 car at a time, but I still want to. You know what I mean? So the song, the concepts for the song have an energy and a vibe, and you know, I want to tell you the truth. I don't want to be rude. I don't want no dirty secrets between me and you. And whatever it sound like, but the thing have an energy and a vibe, and it taking over the carnival. So far, we in mid-January, you know, to be talking about song as big song at this stage. You remember, man used to really song late in the carnival, you know. Sometimes when carnival is in March, January Feds be playing last year music. Still now you're getting good music early in the thing. So salute to all the producers and all the artists for bringing out good music at the time. But I'm not playing this song, right? I'm not gonna play this song. But I'll say this: Trinidad Killa jump on the rhythm. And let's see if I could find. I can't sing like them fellas on them, you know. But he have a song to say, I'm feeling low. That's about how it's go, right? That is a terrible rendition. A terrible rendition, but I refuse to play the song on principle, right? But the song basically saying that he out in the cold and he can't come back for carnival and he grieving and he go right in him in the snow and I want to be there for you, but I can't be there for you, right? Allah songs like Lorraine, we have 100 songs before with that concept. But that concept itself is a winning concept because there have many people for all kind of different reasons, not just being illegal and so on, but for many different reasons, people may not be able to come home for a carnival. I myself relate to this song because with everything happening in life right now, I'm not sure that I could play no mass or fet whole time. And you know what I mean? I might be rocking back this carnival, all the music, I'm ready to pull the trigger. But the idea of missing carnival and missing home is a winning concept for a song. And I'll tell you this, the song good, the song is a hit, the song take off, foreigners defending the song, but it caused a controversy. Because apparently, the people who write the rhythm and own the rights to the rhythm, intellectual property rights, right? They did not approve this song. They don't know nothing about it. He just decided he taking the song after he said on social media that he tried to contact the producers of the song. Nobody ain't taking his call. So he decided to jump on the rhythm. And since he jumped on the rhythm, they have a faction of people online. I'll say mostly like a lot of industry people, right? A lot of industry people are basically saying, hey, you can't do things like that. You can't just pick up a man thing and use it as yours and act like if. And of course, the fight down talk, right? We go do a deep dive into that fight down thing today, you know, who fighting them down, because that is a part of, that might as well be a part of our national watchwords. Discipline, tolerance, production, and fight down. Because somebody always fighting down. Somebody always fighting down somebody. Nobody seem to want to, let me not say nobody. Some people seem to always feel somebody fighting them now. I want to read a little lengthy here, but I want to read a post by the great Selvon Mr. Shaq Noel. I see on Facebook, right? Salute to Mr. Shaq. So, the backstory again is Trinidad Killa, alongside a producer who I know is a very, very talented youth man by the name of Prince Pronto, know him from Prez and them days, and a good youth. Them fellas and them take the rhythm, put his song on rhythm and put it out. Not just put it out like on social media for public consumption, but put it on places like Spotify and YouTube where they're monetizing the song, right? So what it essentially means is if I build a rhythm and I give it to... Let me change the scenario a little bit because I have a part of this that cloudy. The rhythm done get real big already, right? Because Marshall's song only thing is a vibe. And Yung Bredda take the rhythm to the next level. People love that Yung Bredda song. I heard Blaze and them do a link up with our Jamaican radio station this morning. I think it's Zip. And them and all talking about our Yung Bredda song. The song is a nice song. Good, big hit, right? Let me assume I produce a rhythm. And I put two people on the rhythm and the songs ain't catching on. Right? For whatever reason, the people on the rhythm not popular. They can't push this song. Nobody don't like it. The songs ain't great. And I not making no money off the song. Now I put all the money. I pay the artist something and I'm not making no money off this song. And Trinidad Killa then take up my rhythm without my permission, use it and create a hit and monetize on that hit. Would you find that to be fair to me as a person who create this song? You see, a part of what clouding this issue is people tend to watch people who have and feel they have enough. You know what I mean? Marshall don't have money. Them tells them have money. You know what I mean? So anything a man who have money do is fighting down poor people. It's the greatest thing in this country. You know, people like to see people reach a point, but once you get too big here, once you succeed, people start to have contempt for success. Is the greatest thing in this country. You know? So what happens to me now when I'm hungry and I pay for this rhythm and Trinidad Killa? Why wouldn't I go and exercise my rights to my music that I produce and pull down the song off of YouTube and pull it down off of Spotify? Why would I not do that? As somebody who had two artists who's struggling and my rhythm ain't good and them kind of thing, what I also have the option to do is to call Trinidad Killa and say, Kern, here, you catch a length here, you know. This is what I wanted out of the rhythm all the time. Come now, I will authorize it. Let me work out the splits. I will get my money as producer. You will get your money as writer, performer. We will put the credits and you could do it after the fact. And then I could make some money and move on, right? But the truth is, and the crux of the matter is this, that is my choice as an individual. I also have the option to stay poor and hungry and dead as an artist. That's my prerogative. I make the rhythm. It's mine. It belongs to me. And for you to pick it up and go and use it as yours, and because what you do on it is good, and I have some thoughts about that. Everybody, let me read what Mr. Shaq said. He says, so a man thief my already fully loaded car. Then without my permission, of course, put some nice rims, right? on my car that was already top of the line even before the bandit sponsored rims. But because the thief is a well-known community coddled and enabled rabble-rouser and loudmouth, I couldn't put it better myself. I should just allow the thief to drive my car around the tongue and not see it as a bold-faced robbery. Furthermore, when I decide to report the theft and the thief to the police, the said thief and his enablers in the community find I hated on the man and I'm fighting him down. Especially since he called me after he done thief my car to negotiate a reasonable price that I should sell it to he for. And when I refused to sell it, the thief and he enablers cussing me out the road and on social media. How that could be good? So, I ain't gonna read the rest he said to you. But you understand the analogy? This thing belongs to me. You pick it up and you're vexed with the world. This is the part I don't understand, right? Because up to the part where you pick it up without permission, I could have some arguments there with you because a rhythm, salute to Mr. Shaq for the analogy, but a rhythm is not a car, right? And I live in Jamaica for a little while and I see a little bit of what happening in the industry in Jamaica, just from the outside, right? And my little bit of dealings with artists there, I've seen many, many times people jump on unauthorized rhythm. So for instance, I used to go halfway tree and buy a little CD. I have a man named Cassette Ninja on halfway tree, right? It's a little Cassette Ninja. I go down and I buy a little CD. right? Because Ninja do your own little mix. Plus, you have mixes from people like Renaissance and Stone Love and all them things, right? If you bring out a bad rhythm in Jamaica, men go and take that rhythm and do dub plates on that rhythm, right? So a man like Renaissance or Delano, who used to run Renaissance sound at the time, would take that same rhythm and play the songs that official on the rhythm, like what Corey and Kevin had do, you know what I mean? They play the official songs. But they will also play unofficial songs in the form of dub plates, right? You will also have artists who hear the rhythm and find the rhythm bad and jump on the rhythm. And you might find that the producers may or may not approve the song depending on how good the song is and if the song catch length and them there. It's not uncommon. We saw it with Vybz Kartel and Neo, right? Because in all the rest of the world, when you hear the whole rest of the world expect to see own thing. That's why I love her. It's independent. My vocal's terrible, right? But you understand what I'm saying? The whole rest of the world expect to see that. But you see, in this place you call the Caribbean, when you hear you think every man grab a girl. Every girl scan them. All when a night. That's what we expect to hear. That was unauthorized. That is Cartel and Spice picking up a rhythm that Neo was done big already with his Miss Independent song. And them jump on it and it catch a length. I see Neo in an interview saying, well, when he talked to his management and they explained to him who Vybz Kartel was, he had no choice. Like, well, there's no question. We had to authorize it. That was not the way it happened at first. Neo and them was very upset. I'm sure the record label, everybody was upset about it. But they eventually authorized the song. When they say authorize, it means that, listen, okay, we're going to treat it as if we went through the channel the right way in the first place. We're going to sign off on it and we're going to work out some kind of monetary split so now you can monetize the song. To the point now where when Neo performing his song, the song gets so big globally that it come like everybody expecting to hear Scan them. The whole world want to hear that now. And Neo make it a part of his set. But the truth again and the crux of the matter is that is Neo's choice. So when Trinidad Killa didn't get on to the youth men, get Prince Pronto and them to clean up the rhythm thing and make a song. I'll put it this way. You're wrong, but I could understand you because it's not a car. It's not a physical thing to take. It's still yours. It's still wrong, but it's done. It has happened. And beyond that, right, even when it's wrong, as a man, like that's why I play the shadow song too, you know, because when you do good is follow you. So sometimes, but in life, when you're hungry and you're suffering, I understand people taking chances. This world built on wrongdoing and crime and so on. So when a man take a chance, if I don't condone it, I could understand it. You know what I mean? You call the men, you don't have the money to get on the rhythm, the men never take a call, they just don't like you. Or whatever the reason might be, they decide to jump in on the rhythm. Where I have a difficulty is when you immediately switch to the world fighting you and against you, as if you didn't know you was taking a chance and you was doing something wrong. I don't like to use these young people terms now, you know, but you see this thing where you weaponizing people against me fully well knowing that you're wrong. And you're using people ignorance. I only using ignorance in this term to mean people may not know because it's clear that his supporters, some of them on their page, who might well be just people who relate to the song and can't understand why the rhythm done so nice already with the concept of I have one car and I still drive two, and the next concept of, well, you just take it easy, I go do the work and you're the sweetest bend over. And you know, nice concepts like that. Now you add the concept to it that I go write your name in the snow, you know what I mean? I'm feeling lonely and I'm feeling I want to come back home, but I can't come for Carnival. I'm missing all the zest and the fete. People feeling like, hey, that is exactly describing me. And they're fighting on the social media comments on the Trinidad Killa now to say everybody bad-minding them. Of course, the biggest name in the mix there is Marshall. Nobody is saying Yung Bredda bad-minding him because they like Yung Bredda. And he's still seen as below the success threshold. Once you're below the success threshold in this country, aka you're still poor. Once you're below the success threshold, people is defending you and they like you and think still, yeah, Yung Bredda get big like Marshall and make that kind of international recognition and money. They go start to say all kind of things about him and who he fight down and who he never let in. And wait, just give it time because he will get there, and that is what will be said, right? They don't know if I know about it. I don't like that part where you're going into fight down mode immediately and then you're on social media, you're crying. You wish last time it was people event. He wishing the people event get rain out in Tobago because he ain't get booked for Burna Boy. This mentality that somebody owing you something. I don't believe in that at all. And I feel like listen, and the thing about it is when you look at some of his behavior online, he had no respect for nobody. Right? Because you're playing in a game where many men came before you and do a lot. And you do a lot, and many men will come after you and do a lot. The least you could do is show recognition or respect for the people who are around the industry, your cohorts, your peers, your colleagues, you know what I mean, your co-workers. But he had no respect for nobody. I'm saying this because I saw a girl by the name of Melly Rose. What do you want to call Melly Rose? If you don't know the name Melly Rose, I've seen her on Instagram for a while now, you know what I mean? I don't know much about her. I don't know much of her songs, but I know she have a social media presence and I follow her. She trying with songs all the time. She come out and say something about it. I don't know why she say anything about it, like if she don't know who's Trinidad Killa. I hope she do it just for marketing purposes because she know he'd call up her name and all that. But he going off on the girl and this and that and who is you and nobody don't know you and things. It's like, you're doing the same thing that you're accusing people of doing. People fighting you down and da. Why would you say that about an upcoming artist who trying and who building her audience and thing? Why you would use your voice to say she's nobody and we must boycott she and don't follow she and light she up on she page and thing? Boy, let me say something. Another, all right, so it's youth, right? So she unknown. Nobody don't know who she say could do it one. I see mastermind, who people... Again, and that's why I'm going using the word weaponized. So coincidentally, Mastermind is Mr. Shaq's brother, right? I find out that the last time I spoke to Mr. Shaq in an interview. Go back to that episode. One of the best episodes we have on the podcast, right? But when you look at Mastermind and how much artists he produced for and how much rhythms he puts out and who he is in the culture, like I see many people had to remind him, even his followers, because Mastermind went out and said, I'm not playing that Eskimo song. The name of the song is Eskimo. Of course, you probably wouldn't find it at this point unless you look on his social media because they pull it down from all platforms, which is their right to do. Corey and Kevin had that is. But Mastermind say, I'm not playing that song. It's not authorized. We as creatives, we know what this is. We're not supporting that because, and think of it, if Mastermind is Bill Riddim too, I can't support that against two youth men who so bad and coming in there. What kind of example I set in there for the elders. As an elder, I should say. When I not letting nobody do no youth men now. Well, boy, this man screenshot Mastermind thing and put, who the hell is he? Nobody don't know this DJ. He don't even know. It shows a lack of respect. You know what I mean? I always remember, right? Zachary used to go to this karate class. Coming from Purple Dragon, I think his nephew of the great Don Jacob, a man by the name of Ludwig Jacob. All you know Ludwig? And I remember the first time he was going up from white belt to yellow belt or whatever belt ceremony, right? He had all the parents line up the dojo and all the children was on the ground in the middle doing their thing and whatever they had to do. But when he spoke about the purpose of being in the karate class, one of the things he said is that I'm not here just to tell you boy about discipline and to fight and for fitness and for self-defense and all them things. He said, I am here to make your children likable children. That thing stood out to me so much at that point in time, because if me and you on the same level in life, we have the same qualifications, same set of money, we know the same set of people, we have the same kind of access and them kind of thing, right? And you're real likable, and as a pain to be around, you're going to reach further in life than me. So it was such a simple statement to make. And so coming out of the blue for me as a karate man, I thinking you coming to tell people it's spin kick. I come here to learn spin kick and swipe down people and beat people. And when he say, I here to turn your children into likable people, that stood out to me. And sometime in life, you have to focus on being likable. And it is very clear to me that Trinidad Killa is not a likable person. So when Corey and Kevin see the rhythm done big, it's on top of the world. And then they look and they see Trinidad Killa calling. They say, oh God, Lord. Can't answer here. But that is a cry. That is a heaviness. You come and say, heavy down my spirit. I'm sorry for this youth named Prince Pronto who going down in flames with this man right now, right? Because he's a good little youth man I see coming through presenting, and he joined up with this and in the comments fighting with people. And although I know from the little I know of Prince Pronto, I know this is not how he feel. But I see somebody in the comments try to correct Trinidad Killa. Some of his supporters say, hey, No boy, Mastermind. I ain't think you know who that is. That's a big producer. A matter of fact, Sweet Bredda and Sorrel. So to my little cousin, I have a little cousin named Christian and Shayla, and them have a bad Sweet Bredda and Sorrel. What's the song name? Black Cake and Sorrel. Some damn thing, right? You know me and thing name, right? That's Mastermind do that. And she had to remind him, hey, some of the biggest soca parents, that the man who produced it. He do so much for the music. There's one of Trinidad Killa fans trying to just tell him, hey, be careful. And his response on his Instagram, I think he deleted all the posts now. His response was, I don't care what he do for music. And that pretty much sum it up for me. That sum it up for me. It is what it is. He take down all the posts. He say he quit music. You're going to see him crying online just now. And this saga continues. But I think, going about these things, no, but it's almost like I ain't telling you. Boy, you pass somewhere and somebody tree a plum. And the plum, when you take the plum on them. I ain't saying that wrong, but I could understand why somebody would do that. But though when you be wrong now, you're coming and you're saying, take down fighting you down. And but it's like this for me. Anybody who achieve anything, and even the people who never achieve nothing, if that exists, everybody has obstacles in their way, right? But some people just find a way when the obstacle come up, they just focus on the solution. And some people just focus on the obstacle. But there's some people in life, them just become the obstacle, and them's good people to stay away from and make sure that ain't get on your clothes. You see, when you see people like that who them want to become the obstacle to their own self, don't let that get on your clothes. And the thing I'm feeling for the most in this whole situation is Yung Bredda, who was so glad he have a song that have a length. That now with a number one song, the debate around the rhythm now is this. I'm feeling for these youth men, the grandsons of the great Eddie Hart. I'm feeling for them. Because while the rhythm's so sweet and it has everything going for it and it take the carnival by storm, there's such a good feeling to it. The conversation now become about them. I don't like that.
Full leather. God, that what she like. Full leather. Don't turn off the lights, that what she like. Can't believe a sweet girl like you would I tell ya. No sweetness, tie she weakness, yeah. No feelings, just walk it up like you mean it. No sweetness, tie she weakness, yeah. No feelings, just walk it up like you mean it. Girl wine and go down, waistline flow like a melody. Go down, pretty girl you are the recipe. Go down, fire in the kitchen, my girl, how you cook that. Them, let me see. Nice man can keep your interest. Come with flowers and they get dismissed. You have to handle the business proper. Oh Lord, tell you what she like. Tell you what she like. She wants some action in she life. Come good or just don't come at all. Tell you what she like. Tell you what she like. Tell you what she like. She want the roughness in she life. And when I put down the work, watch how she face light up. Boy, no sweetness, die she weakness, yeah. No feelings, just walk it up like you mean it.
Sweetness. Island, Kess is a man of a groove and one man is you have a groove and in a zone is Kess. On to other artists. We can't leave without talking about the great Rachel Montano, right? I saw maybe about a month ago or so, I think being teased that Rachel was going to be on Tiny Desk and all them kind of thing. And I almost forget about the thing to tell you the truth, right? And I realized from the responses to Rachel, I am the problem, right? I am the problem. I come here for therapy. There's a therapy session where I need an intervention. Because I tend to not respond to much social media comments unless somebody says something to me or about me or it have something to do with me. But I realize I be triggered by negative criticism or critique. And I had to work on myself where that's concerned. Because I do find that when people tell me things, like when I put out an episode and somebody tell me, hey, you say this name wrong, or you say, my first instinct is to say, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I talk for 2 hours And the only thing you hear is the one wrong name I call. That's I triggered by it. I have an issue. It's something that I had to work on. I have to work on that and see how I could overcome that. Because I feel so good when I watch Marshall do the tiny desk. And for me, right, it wouldn't matter if he do great, if he do mediocre, if he do bad. The thing that matters to me the most is he do tiny desk, because I have watched several tiny desk performances. Paula Stacey seemed to be obsessed with 3 people: NPR and Tiny Desk, DJ Anna and Simo, Ultra Simo, and a man by the name of DJ Cassidy. Completely obsessed. Anytime we have people over, she forces them to sit down and watch hours and hours and hours of Anna and Simo or DJ Cassidy playing. I've seen all of them. But I also like I have a few of the Tiny Desk performances that I see. Because if you know what Tiny Desk is, what the hell NPR stand for? National Public Radio? I never thought of that. What is that? What is the NPR? Yeah, actually, it is National Public Radio. When you're bright, right? Let me tell you something. When you're bright, just naturally you're bright. It's just come up and you don't even know what it is. It's come up with thing. But National Public Radio is an American public broadcasting organization headquartered in Washington, D.C. with NPR West headquarters in Culver City, California. It serves as a national syndicator to a network of over 1,000 public radio stations in the United States. I don't know if that was helpful. I don't know if it mean anything to you. It didn't help me much, but that's what NPR is, right? And they do this little thing called Tiny Desk. I found out about Tiny Desk the first time because it had a bunch of people who say T-Pain can sing in real life. And then T-Pain went and do Tiny Desk. And it's basically an unplugged performance, not necessarily acoustic. So you're playing with electric or electronic instruments, but you're unplugged in that you have no backing vocals. The musicians actually playing, they're not playing to a backing track with this Ableton thing. The thing I always complain about with Carnival, where they're playing the whole backing track. And in very big, large-scale performances like the Super Bowl and those types of stadiums, they tend to shy away from live instrumentation because of how difficult it is. It does not transmit well all the time over very large audiences. Like stadium artists like Beyonce and so on, they need to have the original backing track behind them when they play music, because the venues that they're in so big that they don't lend well to actually band playing the whole song. It's not going to sound great, right? So when you look at a format like Tiny Desk, which the name is really because it's like a little desk. They perform behind a little desk in the office at NPR. And it's like they're performing for the staff there themselves. It gives you up close and personal with very, very big artists that gives you a different side of the artist. It also only lasts about 10 minutes. So it puts artists like T-Pain in a little bit of it's like a bind. Like, okay, if I only have 10 minutes, like what songs are going to perform? You had to pick the right songs between the big hits that people want to hear versus the songs that you really love to perform in an intimate setting. And I think my favorite is a rapper by the name of Scarface, right? I like the one with Scarface a lot because Scarface sang a song when I was a teenager called "I Never Seen a Man Cry Till I See a Man Die." And he very lyrical, and just seeing him perform with that level of instrumentation around him and not the typical rapper with a DJ behind running up and down on a stage, I like the thing. And T-Pain showed that without the auto-tune and thing and no special mic and special effects, he could sing. He really is a good singer. The one with the locks was really good. We have who's the locks again? Jada Kiss, Styles P, and Sheik Louch. And the whole song with my rap knowledge. The Usher was real good. Plenty of them. Sting and Shaggy was on it, right? Sting and Shaggy was on there together, and it was amazing. Imagine Sting. I mean, Sting is who he is. My favorite one, now, where to check out this. If you like NPR and you like the performances, please go to YouTube and look for NPR Brushy One String. Check out that and tell me how you like it. Brushy One String is a man who's playing a guitar with one string. And he don't play too much on notes on the one string neither. And he literally, it's not like he have a guitar with 6 string and he only playing the one. He have a guitar with 1 string and he's an international recording artist. big artist. And some of these songs he sing from TikTok and little memes and them kind of thing, but he is a vibe and an energy by himself. But them kind of intimate settings, it really is a nice thing to see an artist in them settings. So I was glad Marshall gets to do it. I mean, is it a Grammy? No. Is it Billboard? I mean, I don't know what people want, boy. Like when you see Facebook comments, sometimes I just wonder, like, why is people so upset? And again, I'm telling you, it's to do with my own triggers, right? That nothing to do with nobody else. It's just the way I feel about negative criticism or critique. Maybe I am not good at receiving negative feedback, and that is something I need to work on in my life. Because, and let me sum it up for you. I heard Dame Dash, who was co-founder of Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and them back in the day, right? He was saying something about creativity and entrepreneurship and trying something, right? And he was saying that you could critique things. He says, not that I don't want no negative feedback. He say they have a time to say, okay, this was good, these are things we could improve. But he said that, listen, when I dream in and I'm in my highest moments, don't come to tell me, well, this was wrong, this was wrong. He said, have a time for that, but have a time to just enjoy the fact that we achieve greatness. And maybe that's what's triggered me, because when I see somebody achieve greatness, water in my eye immediately, whether I like you, me ain't like you. I was always talking to my sister about this. I say, yeah, Marshall is the king. I was like, hey, Marshall was the king. It's like Beanie Man and Cartel, you know what I mean? But them youths now taking over Marshall on, he used to say he's the pinnacle, right? But at his age and stage now, you could see where we need more kings coming up. But when he achieves something like this, I feel it's something we could maybe just pause for a minute and celebrate, and then put a little space in between and then critique. And I'm blaming it on Gate, I'm blaming it on Gate because, again, they go to school and they teach you critical analysis. So I am forced, no matter how good I find a man's theory is, Aristotle said da. I must go and find the ups and the downs. Remember some of that critical analysis? That university system is make people very, very good at figuring out what's wrong with something. Ask them to go and do the thing themselves, or ask them to go. It's hard for them to do it themselves. All they could do well for a lot of people, all we could do really, really well when they come out of that university is critique something. Like, you present me with an idea, I could tell you if it's good or bad. But ask you to come up with the idea, and most people who come out of that university system can't come up. It's not like you're coming up with much. So I feel that's where my triggers come from. Because let me read some of the comments for you. And it will be crude. So if you ain't like them kind of thing, don't listen. One of the first comments I'll see in here, the article, and let me read a little bit of the article first to tell you the slant that the article take. This is from the Express, right? By Michael Mondesi, of course, the legend. It says Marshall milestone. Marshall has once again made history, becoming the first soca artist to perform on American NPR's prestigious Tiny Desk concert series. The NPR's Tiny Desk is a globally acclaimed platform renowned for its intimate performances and the ability to spotlight diverse musical genres and artists. Why didn't I just come to the article in the first place? I tried to describe this story so terribly. Look how good Michael Mondesi do the thing. Hosted in the NPR office. Well, you know where it hosted and all that. I'll tell you that already. Rachel Montano's performance, which debuted on NPR's YouTube channel yesterday morning, garnered over 50,000 views within just 6 hours. A testament to soca's growing global appeal and Rachel Montano's enduring talent. Song good, right? Song positive and so on. And I feeling good water in my eye watching some of these things. And I see somebody, they say, I'm happy for him, but he needs to do a little giving back to the less privileged, and God will bless him even more. And this is where I triggered by these things, because my thing is that when we do something, when Marshall sing there, I feel like his eyes singing. I feel like I was in a room. I feel like part of my Trinbagonianness was on display and we out for the world. And if I was to see Marshall in front of me in that moment, or he now come off this stage, I would say, boy, you do real good. Boy, that was real good. I may think to myself that, okay, I see well, they missed this or they missed the cue for a song, but I just feel like if that is not the time when we're feeling so good about what we just do and what we just enjoy, why would that be the time to give negative feedback? They have a time for negative feedback. They have a time for a postmortem. But if I am high and I do something and I feel like I accomplished something, I just feel like when people come out and as I come out, they tell me, boy, that wasn't it. I feel like I take it as a personal attack. But again, I tell you, that's a me problem. Right? I don't work on myself. What's two of the earliest comments? Nobody cares. From Yvonne Hussein. Nicole Mohammed. No one cares. You know what I mean? I can't understand it. Brent Bagaloo. Yeah, he still can't get nothing on the Billboard charts though. It's like, okay, so what the hell is wrong with you? All right. I don't understand. Now, again, this is why I tell you I have a problem, because in between there is plenty comments like, congratulations, best wish to Marshall and TNT. So well done. Blessings. Keep up the good work. Wonderful. I love that series. Congratulations. Bless up. I'm so proud of you. But somehow with my triggers, I always go into the bad one. A man say, this should have been Bungie Garlin. Real bad man. Of course, real spell REEL. Maybe how I can help myself. How I could not get to these things and people, you know, who make comments like this. And I'm seeing like the Express delete some of them. So, I mean, I don't understand. I salute my partner, Maurice Burke. I always talk about him here. Maurice say, hot take. The vocals was terrible. I was like, Maurice, terrible? In truth? And it's almost like another fellow partner of mine online on social media, Lacroix. Say, yeah, it was alright, you know what I mean? There was nothing special about it, you know what I mean? Marshall NPR, it was alright. And I think to myself, but okay, even if you find so, right? I don't understand why there's a need when everybody's celebrating something and your opinion is clearly against the popular grade. It's almost like when too much people enjoying something, people start to come and say, all these sheep, you know what I mean? All these are set of sheeps. All them sheeps on them, they don't know nothing good. So they just, anything come out, anything Marshall do, always be on it. Or like what I was saying, unpopular opinion, Marshall Tiny, that was, alright, needed some female vocals for Iron and some Bottle. Needed some female vocals, some Iron and some Bottle and Spoon. Now, I don't know Maurice Burke or Jason Lacroix to be professional musicians by any stretch of the imagination. Both of them good fellas. I'm sure they're good at plenty. But everybody I know on my timeline who's a professional musician who might be able to tell if vocals wasn't good or if the band was missing something. All of them just saying, hey, great performance, this, that, the other. And I'm sure that they, with their professional opinion and their critiquing eye, because they play music, they've performed, they do intimate settings already, they may have played with Marshall already. They might be able to see some of the things that went wrong that the naked eye or the average person wouldn't be able to see. But boy, I know that the people is just... And again, this is a me problem. Salute to Maurice, salute to Jason. This is not a them problem. The problem is really me, because I just feel like if, number one, when you're giving negative feedback, you have to make sure man ready to receive that. When somebody being creative, like let me talk about a podcast episode, you're bearing your soul. You're putting your whole face out there with opinions. You're saying things that you feel funny that might be that funny. You're saying things you feel important that might be. It's difficult. It's hard to do. So when you're coming to me with it, you got to make sure, hey, all right, let me see if you're in a mental space to deal with this before you come in with a harsh critique like your vocals terrible. I mean, even and I find you could sweeten it up a little bit to study my feelings. Now, so may somebody pick me as a human too. Or you just... If you see Marshall in your face, will you go and say, hey, your vocals was terrible? I have issues with Marshall vocals, long time. I documented talking about here. I was glad to see him sing without a backing track. I also saw him do it for some performance recently, and I was like, hey, I had to eat back my words. This man could actually sing when it's time to sing and perform. I thought he couldn't do it. I'm not saying he do it long enough to know that he could do it, but I was wondering if, not like, to preserve your voice for this season, you stop doing it, or to lengthen your career, you stop all the singing. You could use a backing track everywhere you go, and I don't like it. I prefer to see the artist sing out your whole song. I also saw, I've seen many artists as they start to get older. These songs, like I'll give you an example. When Marshall sing, they say he's a tiny tot. And they say I'm coming in hot, but I laugh in utter amusement. They say I'm going too slow, and I want to shut down the show. Me no lyrics, you know. And he say, I'm a little boy, and I play with my toy. And then I go around and I turn back a little boy. And then when I'm in the junior crown, Marshall ain't sing that high note in about 35 years. A matter of fact, he get Aaron Duncan to come and sing it, because the truth is, the different stages in life, your vocal range has changed. He cannot sing that song in the original key that he used to sing it before. And I hear him do that for a good few of the songs there in the Tiny Desk tour. As bad as the performance was, his performance was a great performance. Excellent performance. Vibes, energy, vocals on point. The band was tight. It poured raisin and tear jerking. You know what I mean? I was glad to see it. And just Marshall energy. A performer like that in a small setting is a dangerous man. You know? Marshall wake up that Tiny Desk, and I watch a good bit of Tiny Desk performances. He had them going. But when you look at somebody who puts in a setting like that and able to deliver at that level, I don't know that there's a whole lot that you could critique, a whole lot that you could say. I think the main focus of it is that you get it done. And my immediate thing is, this was great. Them men and them get it done. They get through it. I'm watching it and saying, all right, let me see you sing now. Because you're shortchanging me for years now. We're paying to see you in FET and you ain't singing that thing. You know what I mean? But in the performance itself, somebody, he shy away from all the high notes. He sang all the songs in the original key. He himself probably went into that knowing, hey, I can't go for that high note if I have no backing track, I don't have no vocal. And he brought in, I want to give some credit to the band, right? He brought in his background vocalists who apparently were the original background vocalists on One More Wine, I think he said. But them fellas' name was Lamar Robinson and Michael Chandler. But he do a great job to me by bringing in the great Etienne Charles. So Etienne was there to play that. Dwayne Antrobus and who else was on keys? Bayet Williams. On the effects, Dwayne Williams, me know if they're related. Damian Neblett playing bass. Melvin Alec playing drums. The great Kyle Peters playing guitar. Tight. They ain't missing nothing. I don't mix up my name now. Madupe Unulu. And Rice Thompson on percussion. You might know them as the fellas who you see playing drum in the middle of FET, right? When you go certain uptown FET, you know what I mean? You see them playing beating drum and timbales. I can't remember the hell the name is offhand now. But it was such a nice thing to bring together a dream team of musicians to play there with you, and it was so tight and well rehearsed. And I like how he do what he's doing in FET and how he's singing the song for him according to Sonny Bling. And he say, all right, I will teach all your call and response. Because to me, if Brushy one string could go there with one string and play, it's a vibe the people looking for. They're looking for what do you bring? Who are you? What's your energy and what's your vibe? Where you come from in your genre? And he gave them a slice of it when he went into Power Soca and he said, Pana, pa, pa, pana, pa. I find personally like, because when he said Pana, the whole band sang it with him because I feel them fellas when they was rehearsing, but they say, oh God, now shall I know they feel them understand? All right, we're going to sing it along with you just in case it didn't work. And the look on Marshall's face and them, the energy in the band changed. When they ball out pana and the next side say papa pana papa, the thing is bad. Don't study nobody. It's about time, according to Dame Dash. It's about time for critique and them kind of thing. But the time for critique is not while the man's still on a high and while everybody else still on a high just enjoying this. Why would you be so mean? Why would you be so mean? When you get a chance to look at it, just watch the guitars. Because this little youth named Kyle Peters, he's also the guitarist who play on that same Big Links Riddim. Legendary guy. And just check his energy for the whole performance. Check Etienne, check them fellas, check the band, how energetic they were, and you could see people treating this as if this is a milestone in their career, according to the great Michael Mondesi. Talking about milestone in career, and again, as I'm talking about guitars, I have a few things I want to do real quick, right? I want to say prayers to Joey Ningwai. Let me just make sure I have this up because I saw some news about him. I just want to make sure. Okay, good. I seen in the news they said he was sick and he was in hospital and they were asking for prayers as another guitarist and so on, guitarist and producer. But they're saying he's regained consciousness and is in his ongoing battle with pneumonia. So again, prayers to him and make sure you keep him in your prayers when your family saying all your prayers. Spare thought for Joey Ningwai. Even if you ain't know the name, you know him, right? He's been around for a long time. And again, rest in peace and condolences to the family of Roger Bootman. According to Dominic Persad, Roger Bootman was a multifaceted songwriter, musician, keyboardist, producer, artist, and entertainer. He was the only songwriter in the Caribbean to win 3 Caribbean Broadcasting Union Song Festivals. He was the first Trinidadian to win the CBU contest in 1993. He won both first and second places in the local leg of the Commonwealth Song Competition to represent Trinidad and Tobago. His compositions have been the theme songs for things like Gael, Changing Agenda, and Carry. Bootman's experience playing for the Santa Cruz, Sawa, Guanapo, and El Socorro Nazarene churches and as a resident pianist at Holiday Inn, Hotel Normandy, and Trinidad Hilton widened his repertoire of songs. He and his brothers David and Michael Bootman are nephews of world-renowned artist Jeffrey Bosco Holder. So condolences to them, to the families. Great ones. You see all the people who you consider legends in Trinidad who posting about the passing of Roger Bootman this week. And I want to end as I'm talking about people and milestones and so on in their career. Come on, record this podcast, so I'm going to talk more about blasted family. The Dial Diamonds. I thought it used to be Dial Dynamos, you know. And a Rima story of decline and revival. A fellow in the seen an article of a man I used to know as a young fella, you know, back in the day. The man, the whole beard grey now. As football coach at Rima now secondary, there are many stories that Wayne Shepherd tells. One is about a trip to drop off some players home after practice. The drop off having been completed, Shepherd proceeds to complete a full turn in the crescent he is in, only to be stopped by the frantic youngster who warns him about going further. Why? Because one side of the crescent is worn with the other side. The coach wisely reverses. Then there's Sheppy's first day at training when he's back with his new team in 2019. Players keep dropping out of our running drill. And I asked to say, this one didn't eat since he ate breakfast yesterday. 2 eggs. More than once, as he relates that's what the last 5 years have been coaching at the East Trinidad School, Shepherd uses the expression 2 different planets. Having come from the West at Fatima College, what you're trying to say is he privileged like hell, right? Having come from the West at Fatima College, where he went to school, played his football, and then later coached, operating at the institution from the Eastern Borough, has brought home the different worlds in which young people on these islands exist. But as the sun always rises over the horizon, Shepherd has also seen brighter days at Arima, not since that eye-opening training session on and off the field. The article went on to talk about him and how much he's changed, not just the football unit in Arima, but some of the lives of the footballers themselves, the energy in the community behind football, but more so impact and passing on his knowledge and his own experiences, not just in football, because you might know Sheppy as well, not just as a man who was, and I say was, I will emphasis on the word was a great footballer in his time. I don't know. He used to defend, right? Which is a strange thing for me. I guess when you look at the real short defenders now, men playing left back and think they ain't that tall. But back then, like, he's a man could have real dribble and had a real, like, I remember him working on different spanner and hitting men's spanner in Savannah and thing, watching him play small for players like Queen's Park and inter-department football. I think he's a bad little footballer, you know, men might forget that. But to see him doing all his badges and getting through the coaching and continuing to strive for more in coaching and being so unrelated to Arima, because this is a man I know never passed the lighthouse. As a young fella, I never see Barney in the East in my life, but all of a sudden he's the big man in Arima, and the commitment he's shown to Arima is admirable. I also never see him in a fete ever in my life. I never went in Barney room and hear Calypso playing. I never see a Kaiso cassette. I never hear nothing. Them fellas and them was not no soca man. He liked little despots and thing, but that was about it. He liked the pan, right? But this man wasn't no big soca man. He never went a fete. And them fellas now running Kyrie people and doing great things. So I just want to take a selfish little minute there to salute my family. Long before I know what is a brother and I know what is a sibling, I know this fellow they call Barney, you know what I mean? Long, way back. But as we close, and as we wrap up this episode, I would like to just play a couple for you because, of course, in this household is the household of debate, right? So I want to leave Oli with 2 songs, and I want Oli to be the judge for me because, or just tell me if we way off the mark as a whole, and we don't know nothing about music at all, because I, as a man, have a certain song as Marshall biggest song. But Paula Stacy have a different song as Marshall biggest song. And I want to close the episode with these 2 songs. And of course, I will end with mine because I will keep the impact. If there's any impact of going last, right? You know, Yung Bredda say, take it easy, I will do the work. So let's Paula Stacey do the work first. Now. This is what Paula Stacey have as Rachel Montano's biggest song ever.
Breaking 10494, this is the big truck passing.
Yeah. Hey, bang, bang, ding, 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 ding. Bang, bang, ding, ding, ding. What we say? Give me now. Don't ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. I say ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Hey, ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Say, Juve morning children shout. Big truck passing my mouth. Hey, from the house they running out. Big truck passing my mouth. How they want? Jump up on it. What they want? Jump behind it. How they want? Wind up on it. Hey, what they want? Run behind it.
Run.
When they see the big truck coming down,
Run.
Everybody falling behind them.
Run.
Follow the speaker song, badang, badang, bang, bang. Hold on to the big truck, mama. Hold on to the big truck. Hey, jump behind the big truck. Hey, wind behind the big truck. Say, don't let cheap bounce you down. Don't let cheap bounce you wrong. Don't let cheap push you back. Or give your heart attack. Hold on to the big truck. Hey, hold on to the big truck. Hey, jump behind the big truck, mama. Wind behind the big truck. What we say? Look, Carnival, they all in tongue. Big truck passing my mouth. Hey, plenty people gather wrong. Big truck passing my mouth. Say, all the man them. Look, all the women. And all the children. Everybody. Say, run. If you can't keep up, you have to run. When the driver blow the truck hard, run. Everybody follow the song, badang, badang, bang, bang. Hold on to the big truck. Hey, hold on to the big truck. Hey, jump behind the big truck, mama. Wind behind the big truck.
She's saying fairness, right? I had to wait for the breakdown, right? The breakdown had to play, right?
Don't let them push you back. Or give your heart attack. Hold on to the big truck. Hold on to the big truck. Hey, wind behind the big truck. Hey, jump up on the big truck. What is it? Take it down. This is what I want you to do for me now. I want you to get in position. Right? Bring the winery. That's so. Leave out of bed. C'est toi. Chaka Mouje. Bissessar. Ichimaba. Now jump. So jump up and jump up and jump up. Right there. I say jump up and jump up and jump up. Behind the jump up and jump up and jump up. Right there. Jump up and jump up and jump up. Hey, hold on to the big truck, mama. Hold on to the big truck. Hey, hold on to the big truck.
I always forget that part. When the big truck shut down, what you gonna do? And ding ding do. The best part of that song was Denise Belfort whining on the truck with them, right? But no, a big song. Rachel Montano, Big Truck is one of the biggest. But of course, I don't know that is the best thing to choose for an NPR Tiny Desk because you know, my should be little desk hunting, you know what I mean? You know, I know if they'll be able to keep that desk together. And then it's one of the older songs. He seemed to stick to more modern or up-to-date versions of his songs. So some of the songs included One More Time. He opened with that. He played Family. You know, a two-mind body family thing. But I suppose if you go there, you have to play Family, right? I suppose you had to go and play Family. He sing Bungee part and he sing Trinidad part with terrible vocals according to Mauriceburg. But he sing it anyway. And you know what I mean? He do good. He came all the way through it, right? And what other song I'm missing that he sing? The Soca Kingdom is what he closed with. If you know how I feel about Soca Kingdom, one of the biggest songs he ever sang too. But for me personally, and a song that was chosen on the day, which I don't know how he could go in a place like Tiny Desk and not sing this, and also to do nice little breakdowns within the tune so the percussionists could really get on band and ATN could do eating and thing. My personal Rachel Montano favorite. You could tell me which one better between two and which one is all a favorite, but this is me right here.
Hey, look trouble now. Hey, he coming down. Say, he coming down. Like a. Hey, every day is sweat. I come out to better, fetting more than you. It's sweat. I come out to sweater, wetter, sweating more than you. I come to wine and jam and I sure to catch it more than you. Cause whining down. I only need dirty girl, and nothing can stop me now. It's whole year. I live for the carnival, and I know that it will be magical. Misbehaving, and I don't care at all. So don't try to stop me. I'm a professional. Every day is sweat. I come out to sweat and wet and sweating more than. It's sweat. I come out to sweat and wet and sweating more than. I come to wine and jam and I short and catch it more than. Cause when I'm fetting, of course, I just do it like a boss. I'm fetting morning and evening.
We jumping up.
This is my home and not leaving.
We whining up. Between me and you, as with every other debate in this house, I could comfortably say that I've won. I don't say the debate in that, you know what I mean? The boss has spoken. And you know, Soca Kingdom, I remember the first time I heard Soca Kingdom, water in my eyes. Same as Big Truck, same as Like a Boss. I remember the year I hear Like a Boss. When I hear that, I say, nah. Marshall find back a length. Because before Like a Boss, he was doing a lot of the ministerial. It had a few songs where it's not my favorite set of songs. But boy, when he finds something. And I always remember being in Anchorage. But I mean, Big Truck was a blur because them days is beg to go fet and go where you could go days. That's the early days when I can't come out on my own yet, right? But when Like a Boss, I was outside. And I remember going to fet in Anchorage. It could be Blue Range Cooler Park. I used to have a Friday night cooler fet in Anchorage. And I see Marshall on that step going up by that stage, right? And of course, and I see the way he was approaching that stage. He just had a light chip. And I said, nah, boy, this man know he have one, boy. He have no doubt about voices. Come and play as people play. And listen, nobody but Kyle Peters. Because that little strum inside it was so tight when Kyle Peters started that on the NPR. I understand that just repeating that from the original man who would have played on the track. I don't know if it would be him, but who the original man who played on the track, Kyle Peters, replicated that precisely. And Marshall was on one when you see he had that song and he was going up on that stage. And listen, he know he have them in the palm of his hand when he had that song. It feel like that, you know, because the first time I heard Jumbie, which would be one of the biggest, it didn't hold people the first time we hear it, but Big Truck, Like a Boss, it have few of them that really hold people at the time. I'll leave in the other one, right? Well, I was very, very surprised that this was not one of the songs that would have played on a tiny desk. I know his focus would be on music that he do by himself, but I know he do Family, which is also Bungie and Skinny Fabulous, and he do Soca Kingdom, which is also with Super Blue. So I was a little surprised that I didn't hear this.
Yeah, baby, you know how we do. You, me, you tell your friends, I tell mine. It's that time again.
Carnival and TNT is so special to all our we. Like we need blood in we vein. That's how we feel about Port of Spain. When the party them come in joy, them pan and a bongo drum is madness everywhere.
What's the man not true?
Carnival is a true freedom. Make a noise or a joyful jump and jump up in the air. So everybody take a jump, take a jump, take a jump up now. Start a wave, start a wave, start a wave up now. Start a wine, start a wine, start a wine up now because it's Carnival.
As some people put them on the ground. Only have a safe week, have a productive week. 2 weeks now, we're coming here to talk about Bungie and the greatness of Bungie. They will start to say I don't like Bungie and I'm fighting Bungie, you know, because as usual I have some complaints, but the greatness of Bungie cannot be matched. But somehow it's always getting pushed to the end of the episode. So next week for sure, we will deal with Bungie, right? Because you see Bungie and that 1,000 thing. Bungie have an energy that I don't think I ever see no artist bring to people before. So we will get to that next week, right? But until then, I'll have a safe week, stay productive, stay good. And I realize now why Marshall didn't sing this, because they really destroy song, you know. Most of these singing is destroy until Marshall say start the gang and the gang. So I mean, he really couldn't sing this probably. It destroys too much in the opening of the song. But anyway, we will get back to it next week. Enjoy the carnival, stay safe. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.